Hi, this is Vidya. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the Cutterpillar crop. The Cutterpillar crop is a rotary paper trimmer. The base of the Cutterpillar measures 7 inches wide by 16 inches long. The Cutterpillar has an extendable arm that increases the cutting surface up to 18 inches wide. You can see that there are markings for both inches and centimeters on the arm as well as the base itself. The base of the Cutterpillar is made from ABS plastic, making the trimmer quite sturdy and durable. The cutting force behind the Cutterpillar are two blades, a moving rotary blade that is present in the plastic housing and a stationary blade present in the base of the Cutterpillar. When the rotary blade moves against the stationary blade, it produces a cut. The stationary blade does not have a sharp edge. So how does the blade cut? Instead of relying on sharp edges, the Cutterpillar functions based on friction. When the rotary blade hits the stationary blade, it produces friction, which in turn produces a clean cut. The rotary blade is present inside a plastic housing that moves over an aluminum rod. If you look up close, you can see that there are gears inside the plastic housing. The rotary blade is driven by this gear system that is present in both the blade housing and in the aluminum rod. You can notice that the blade moves smoothly and almost effortlessly. In traditional rotary trimmers, the blade moves on the fact that you apply pressure to it. That is completely eliminated in the Cutterpillar because of the gear system. And because of that, the amount of pressure you need to apply for cutting is very minimal. This also leads to lesser wear and tear on the blade itself. And that is why you will never need a blade replacement for your Cutterpillar. The Cutterpillar comes with a guarantee on the blade that you will never need another blade replacement. If you require that, you will be replaced free of cost. Another important feature of the Cutterpillar that I like is the fact that it is almost impossible to get yourself cut. You can't squeeze your finger accidentally into the line of motion. I'm trying to squeeze my finger in here and you can see that it is almost impossible. If you're wondering, the blade does not move or rotate too far away from the cutting area, making it as safe as possible. This is a major selling point for the Cutterpillar. And this is one of the major disadvantages of traditional guillotine trimmers, especially if you have inquisitive kids around the house. I was sold on the Cutterpillar as soon as I heard that this is as safe as it gets. The base of the Cutterpillar is marked for every quarter of an inch. Although there are markings, it is a little bit difficult to locate frequently used measurements and cutting areas. I would have preferred black markings over frequent cutting areas. This is one of the pitfalls of this trimmer. There are hacks available on the internet to overcome this problem, including using black paint over the rulers and using stick-on tapes. You can find that and the links to those videos in the description. As a bonus, the Cutterpillar also has a metric ruler etched into the top of the trimmer. This is a cool feature if you're living outside the US, as people outside the US probably use metric measurements in our daily life. And this edge also serves as a ledge that you butt your paper up against when you're cutting. You will see that in a minute how it will function. You take your paper and you move it against the ledge so that you get a 90-degree placement on your paper, and this ensures that you get a clean cut or an accurate cut every time. I was wondering whether this would be available at the bottom of the trimmer as well, because I'm used to having a ledge on the bottom of my trimmer as well, and this is a feature I would have liked in the Cutterpillar as well. Next up, the backlight LED. There is an LED light that helps you see the cutting edge when you're cutting with your Cutterpillar. This is especially useful when you're cutting photographs or trimming your project, eyeballing placement of your light. You can see the cutting edge very clearly on this paper. The paper I'm using is Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and you can see a clean cutting edge. You can see a few pieces of cardstock that I've tried cutting using the Cutterpillar for demo purposes. This includes acetate, felt, burlap, etc. The first kind of cardstock that we are going to test using our Cutterpillar is the Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock. I'm placing the cardstock against the ledge. Hold on your cardstock and move your blade slowly and smoothly. I've actually cut the cardstock down at 4 inches, and you can see that I've got a clean cut. The paper I'm using is an Indian brand of the Nina Solar White, so I do not get 2 equal pieces because of that, because I think the cardstock measures 8¼ inches wide by 11½ inches long. I think that is the exact measurement. You can see that I've got a clean cut. There are no frayed edges. The edge of the paper isn't too sharp that I get a paper cut. This happens often when you're using guillotine trimmers, the sharp edges. You can see no paper cuts. So this is something that I like about the Cutterpillar. Clean cuts, no frayed edges, no paper cuts. Next up we have the Nina Solar White 110-pound cardstock. Again, I'm going to be cutting this down at 4 inches, just like the 80-pound cardstock. Butt your paper against the ledge, hold it down, and move your rotary blade against the stationary blade. Just push your blade against the stationary blade. You have to push it against the blade so that you get a cut. Okay? Push it horizontally against the stationary blade, and that is how you get the friction for the cut. Again, it has produced another clean cut. As you can see, those are not 2 equal pieces because of the type of paper we get in India. Next up we have Fabriano. This is the kind of cardstock that we get in India frequently. It is a thicker weight cardstock. I think it's 120 pounds. Move your blade smoothly and you get a clean cut another time. So I'm most excited about this, that it can cut thicker piece of cardstock without frayed edges, because my whiskers usually fails at this point. Next up, one of my favorite kinds of cardstock to use, the PTI Perfect Match cardstock. The cardstock is quite heavy at 120 pounds. This is the cardstock that we are going to be using to test accuracy of cuts. I'm pushing the paper up against the edge, holding it down, moving my blade at 4¼ inches. I get a clean cut. Again at 5½ inches I'm going to make another cut. Hold your paper down. Most trimmers fail at this point. They never produce 4 equally sized pieces. Again, push it up and cut. And the Cutterpillar does a fantastic job of cutting down this cardstock. I'm going to line up all 4 edges, and you can see that all the 4 edges are lined up perfectly, and you get 4 perfectly equal pieces. And this is what I'm most excited about. Accurate cuts every single time. No frayed edges like I usually get with my whiskers. No paper cuts and no wasted cardstock. And this is what all paper crafters want from their paper trimmers. Clean cuts and no wasted cardstock. Next up, I'm going to be using some other materials, some other kinds of materials to test what are the type of materials that the Cutterpillar can handle. I've chosen burlap, felt, acetate and craft cardstock. First up we have the burlap piece. I'm using a piece of burlap purchased at a local craft store. I don't want to be too wasteful with my burlap. I'm using my backlight LED and it actually illuminates the edge. If you can see that. I'm just going to be cutting down a small piece of the burlap. I don't want to be wasteful. Hold it down. I want to cut as small as possible. You can see that it did take a little bit more effort than normal cardstock, but again you get a clean cut with a Cutterpillar. It's almost 3/4 of an inch. I already cut this piece of burlap, so I do not want to waste too much, as I'm kind of hoarding that paper. Next up, I'm going to be using some felt. This is not a piece of wool felt. This is normal. This is not natural felt. This is called polyester felt. Yes, polyester felt. So butt it up against the ledge, hold it down and move your blade. Again, it produces another clean cut. The edges are quite clean, there are no frayed edges, and this will not cause any sort of problem to your blade. Next up, I'm using acetate. I'm using a piece of acetate that I've already cut down so that I'm not wasteful. This is a pretty flimsy piece of acetate, so I've cut it down without any problems. Next up we have the chipboard, the mother of all media. There aren't too many trimmers in the market that cut chipboard, and the Cutterpillar does a very fine job of cutting the chipboard. The chipboard I'm using is 1 millimeter in width, and I'm going to butt it up against the ledge, push it down, hold it down, otherwise your chipboard is definitely going to shift. Push your blade down and against the stationary blade, and you see that we get a clean cut once more. The Cutterpillar works with thin and medium weight chipboard. It does not accommodate thick weight chipboard. Keep that in mind. So there are the various pieces of cardstock that we've cut. So what is the verdict on this trimmer? I absolutely love it. The advantages by far outweigh the disadvantages, which aren't many. Goodbye to blade replacements. This is a trimmer that I will definitely recommend to any paper crafter despite the steeper price point. It is worth every penny and every cent. Thank you for watching. Hope you find the video useful. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. I will try to find the time to answer. And thank you for watching. Bye.